Welcome back to another episode of the South by East podcast, where we talk about everything from music, culture, the scriptures, and in between. Brail, where are we at today?
Man, we got a word from the great honorable prophet Too Short. Man, I saw this video, and man, people always say that hip hop is a young man's game. It's a young man's sport.
Yeah.
And but there are some artists that have survived the test of time, and I just thought this was really interesting. Too Short talking about having his greatest hit later in life, and if you're a millennial, and especially if you're anywhere near the urban community, you will know this hit. So I just want to check out this video of him talking about it, and then talk about, man, what does that look like to hit your biggest run later in life? Let's check out Too Short's words.
Yeah, I want to say something now. Mm-hmm. There is no artist. If you correct me if I'm wrong, there is no recording artist that we know of in modern times in any genre who had a 20-year career, solid hits, accolades everywhere, world tours, platinum albums, big records, and then they make their signature record 20 years later at the age of 40. No artist has ever had that moment in their career where they made it, and everybody's like, "You made it."
Yeah.
And then they make the biggest hit. They make it. You can make a hit later in your career,
Right.
but not your
That's
biggest.
what I was saying too.
So I thought this one was interesting. For one, Too Short spans both of our generations. Sometimes in hip hop, we miss each other when it comes to popular hip hop,
Yes.
you know, because of the time periods in which we kind of strayed from the popular music. But Too Short hits on both. So did you grow up with some Too Short?
You know what? See, this is one of those.
It's a safe place. It's a safe place.
This is one of those moments where, have you ever seen the video of the grandma was talking to her granddaughter about, I can't believe y'all listen to that music, different things of that nature, and the granddaughter finds an old boom box and a box of cassette tapes up in a garage or attic or something. It's like, what's this? Oh, that's my old boom box. Those are my mixes from back in the day. And she starts playing the music. She's like, oh.
Yeah.
Man, unfortunately, yeah, there was a lot of Too Short, bro. I'm from down south, man,
I
and
know y'all was rocking it.
there was a lot of Too Short in my lifetime, and I mean, from the ghetto. Earlier, where he took that song and kind of took the R&B hook from that song and redid it early.
You talking about
ghetto,
like the ghetto?
funky,
Yeah.
and he took that
really?
and
I
he
didn't
rapped.
know
That was one of his earliest hits, bro.
That's hard.
And then to my college days, with he used a slang term twice to title a song.
Yeah.
And
now that one I knew. That's what I was shook. That's what I knew. I was like, man, how he says that. Just how he says it.
But here's the deal. So in college, I started, even when that song came out, I was already in transition. And I was at a point in my life where I knew the hold that music held on me. And so I got to, I don't know if I got to a point where really with my life with Christ, in my relationship, I was like, I gotta let go of some things. And music played this big part. And I used to always try to tell, oh, Mom, this doesn't affect me. This doesn't.
Yeah,
and then,
it does.
And here's the deal. And she like, but the words in here. And I'm like, well, Mom, this don't affect. It just sounds better than this Reverend James Cleveland that you over here on the pop.
It's just about the beat.
And I'm like, I like the blues and stuff y'all play. I mean, I actually like, the R&B, all that stuff. But it was just, the thing that hit me was, even on my college, like, my friends knew, like, man, John is a godly guy. And one person got in the car, they were like, I'm kind of hearing the same thing I hear in your car and these other places, and it was like,
that distinct flavor is.
And it was the word. It was like, hey, some of the words being used in here, I wouldn't want them to be used for my mom or my sister. I wouldn't want, and so it was.
Had to let it go.
And so I was like, I remember, man, it was crazy. So that song, and I really liked that song. And it came out in 2001. I graduated in 2002. So it was the summer before my senior year, man. I remember like with almost tears in my eyes, standing by the trash can dumpster in my apartment, like in my apartment parking lot.
The day.
And
day after day.
and I'm standing over there, bro, and I'm just like I'm at the dumpster throwing CDs in, bro. And then I had to, so it, like, why my deal is you can't just walk away. You got to fill it with something else.
Yeah.
So at first I had like these CDs full of nothing but MP3s of the beats of the songs that I used to listen to.
My man had the beat tapes.
Man, look, I was over here shaking, bro.
Timbo's greatest hits. Ghetto Boy.
I'm serious, bro. I'm over this joker shaking and biting them nails. Like, that's my jam. That is my cut.
Trying not to sing the words. Like, no, sing the edited version in your head. Sing the edited version.
And then it's like, I had to get one of those Columbia memberships. I don't know if you remember back in the day, they used to send 12 CDs for 1 cent. and then, but you had to buy like, we'll send you a CD, and if you don't buy it, you can send it back, or you get this many CDs every.
That's cool.
So I had to start building up kind of my gospel repertoire and some of that, and one of my boys, and it was like one of my boys was further along with me, my boy Mike, and he was one of my boys from high school, and when he got to college, he joined a Christian fraternity. And so he was like, man, I remember coming home one summer, we come back from school, Mike gonna love this, boom, boom, I'm pumping, and he's like, oh man, my ears burning, bro. My ears burning, bro.
My ears burning.
And I was like, dang, man, like we used to, this is my boy that when the More Money, More Problems come out, we used to be, like, you know how Mason Puff was waving, this was us in the front seat, bro. And so when it was like, when there was a loss of sync, it was like, man, this don't even hit the same no more, man. Like, because it meant music always brings up memories of gathering and stuff like that. And so, there was a lot of short, man. There was a lot of short in my life, man. I can tell you, like the ghetto, I remember singing it with my cousin Pookie, man. Back in the South Dallas Projects in Bunton.
Man, bro, I feel you on that too. Like, so I never moved 100% away from just contemporary hip hop, but I did shift to primarily listening to Christian hip hop, because hip hop has just always been my bag, man. That and gospel, gospel music, because that's what I was raised on. It was like hip hop was what I found from my friend, and gospel was what I got from my mom's, and that and stuff like the Delphonics, and Earth, Wind, and Fire, etc. Yeah. But it's like I hit this. It was actually my wife that put me on to like some dope Christian artists, because I was making music and I was like still listening to all just the worst stuff and going like, I'm gonna make the kind of the nicer version of this, and was still saying certain things, doing stuff in my own music, because I started writing songs when I was like 14 and recording them. So it's like I hit this point, it was probably my mid-20s, like Sam and I started dating.
Bro, I remember one of your first songs that I heard, bro.
What was one of the first ones you heard?
It was the one, so I just got to Topeka, and you shot the video here in the building. And it had the whole part at the end. And I'm like, and so at this time, we had just started seeing, you had gotten somebody from the organization to be in this
video. Oh,
and I'm looking, and I'm like, what?
The wisdom.
What? Or, no, we don't want to be in that video. No, we don't want to be in part of that. No.
So this is crazy. So in between, I had this in-between phase, right? I started listening to more Christian hip hop, and I'm like, all right, I like that. You know, because I was making hood music, but with a message. and I hit this point. So I actually,
I'm gonna push this key to buy these turkeys.
yeah, for the hood. I'm doing it for the Frank Lucas, man. But I'm over in Spain, and I made this song called Stovetop Bratwurst. And I realized, like, hey, these Spanish people, they don't even speak my language, but they feel what I'm saying. So I made this song. I didn't have a whole lot of words. It was just N-word, gonna make some dinner. That was the whole song. And we're gonna make some dinner, but I didn't say N-word. You know what I'm saying? And so I had the song, and I go to this show where I did one of the songs off that same album called, it was Tough Tim Time. And in that song, I say the N-word in one verse about 8 times. It was intentional too, because I knew who I was trying to hit, who I was trying to talk to. So I said it, did the song. Somebody had given us some grief about it. Like before we went on stage, someone from the school. I was like, man, forget all that, man. We doing what we doing. I got off stage and I'm actually sitting on a swing set. Me and my boy sitting on a swing set. We're the only 2 black people in the whole space. We did a show at a castle. So we're outside a castle, sitting on some swings. 2 dudes walk up on us. One dude got 11 fingers. And we like just looking. And you know how sometimes when you're in trouble, like black people get that telepathy, like, I'm gonna take the one on the left, you take the one. We like slow down our swinging, we get in sync, and we like sitting there, and these dudes walk up on us, mugging us, 2 Spanish dudes. And one of them looks at us and he goes, my God! And we were like, oh, and we just sat there like not knowing what to do. And then it was like, what's up, man? And we talked to him, and it was like afterwards we had a conversation. I was like, I'm never saying that.
So it was a
in my
variety of
songs
things,
again.
right? Because also around that time, man, I had a lot of international friends that were in my major and different things that was in the School of Engineering. And there was some things going on with them and females, and I just asked one of them one day that was good friends, was like, man, why are y'all so aggressive toward women? And he's like, oh man, because we watch BET back home, and it shows like that's what all American women want is this, and
Man,
and I
that
was like,
influence,
whoa,
that's crazy.
that's what we shipping overseas?
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Like that influence. And when I was there, I was like, fam, I can't even be mad. I know he done seen this on TV, and then I gave him the license. And so that's part of the reason why, but that's part of the reason why like that skit is on the end. Cause I was gonna take all the skits off the project. And when I saw that, I was like, nah, this is my final farewell to this word. And so I put the skit on where I talked about the word and the complexities of it and the history of it, because I was like, this is my last hurrah. This is my last project. It's gonna come out with this word on it. And I wanna, before I go out though, I wanna talk about why some of us use this and some of us don't, and what this looks like. Because now I know I got this position to educate, and then I'm out. And so, but yeah, it was funny though.
That comes back to this, and it's like, Big Boy, Too Short are talking about this hit coming up at the end kind of deal, and one of my deals is, I want to finish well. Yeah. And one, there's some practical application of, man, you're not done yet. On the day that we're filming this, I'm celebrating my 45th birthday, right?
Yeah.
And
Happy birthday, man.
and so it's one of those deals where you're not finished yet. And I think too often, especially in the Christian body, we think we're done. And I was just a little bit earlier reviewing the results of our spiritual growth survey that we do each year within the body, and just seeing like, man, there's so many gifts and talents that people have in the body that they're not utilizing. Either they think they're beyond a certain time, they're beyond a certain point, and they're just not really fully taking advantage of the time that God has given them on earth. I just wish that we saw more examples of Christians past the 40 mark.
Yeah.
Saying, I got another lease, I got another opportunity, and this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm reinvesting these skills and times, because I believe there is totally the opportunity to finish well, no matter where you're at. And I think we talk about our prime, when I was in my prime all the time.
Right.
And really, I feel like I'm my best me right now. I'm growing still. I still got things to improve upon, but there's even things that have happened in my life as of late, and conversations that me and my wife had where she asked me for advice on different things that I handle totally different than I would have handled even just a few years ago. or even 6 months ago, man. And life will do that to you. Life has a way of wearing on you, and a way of softening your edges and honing you in, so to speak. And so this is I'm not trying to come across judgy or whatever. I just feel like at times we see more of an opportunity to have the post 40 moment like too short than the post 40 moment of finishing well according to the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because both are not there, is that one is more celebrated, and the way we give people more man, like sometimes the secular world will give you more opportunities to rebirth and come back.
Yeah, and that's on us. That's on us as members of the kingdom. We and I think part of that is because we often don't value quality the way that we should.
Mm-hmm.
Man, as a Christian artist, for one, I want to say, man, you never passed your time till you out of time. And as a Christian artist, fam, like, or an artist who is a Christian, I guess I don't make Christian music, but I always tell people around me, I have some people that come around me, they're like, hey, we can just put out anything. This is for Jesus. Jesus is going to take it. And I'm like, hey, fam, when we were making secular music, we wanted to make the hottest music out. We wanted to make the music that was going to reach the most people. We wanted to make the music that was going to move people the most. It was going to affect people the most. When we're out here making music for the kingdom, how much more should we care about the impact of what we do? How much more care should we put into the quality of what we
Mm-hmm.
produce? And that's not just in music. That's in every area of ministry. That's in every area of your secular job as a Christian. That's in every area of your relationships. Man, we got the guidebook. We got the guidebook, not the instruction manual, the guide to walk with us in every area, every facet of life. Are we applying that to
Yeah.
what we're doing? And never think it's too late, because that guidebook don't stop. Like, hip hop used to be a young man's game. Hip hop had its 50th anniversary last year, 2 years ago. It had its like 50th anniversary, and now all them artists that thought it was a young man's game, they're out here getting it in. So what does that look like for you?
Yeah.
What does that look like for you, man? What is your post 40 moment? Where are you about to step into your post 30 moment, your past prime resurgence? What does that look like for you? We want to see it in the comments. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody who needs to hear it, and we'll see you next week
In
the
the
intersection.
intersection.